Hello, and welcome to Morning with a Mentor. My name is Diller Schwartz, and I am your host. Please join me on Wednesday mornings at 8:30 a.m. while I interview top talent in our KW Austin family.
I was still trying to figure out what consistently do I need to be doing. Is it open houses? Is it door knocking? Is it networking? And I eventually just found the tools that worked for me.
All right. So thanks everyone for being here. We have Ola Thompson on this call, and I'm excited to interview Ola. I do work alongside with her every day. However, I never just get to ping her with a bunch of questions. And I see the results of a lot of the stuff that she talks about. So, or she's going to talk about. I'm really excited for you guys to hear this. And Ola and I have known each other for a very long time. And watching her grow has been really fun, and watching her really create her systems in her business and stick to it. She's pretty fierce about defending her schedule. So, all right, I'm going to get started. Ola, just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Diller, for the invite. This is exciting. Well, my name's Ola Thompson. I've been an agent with Keller Williams since 2016. I got licensed in late 2016, so I'm about to move into my 9th year of real estate. I was a solo agent for 4 years before I teamed up with Diller, and I've been with the team for the last 4 years. Let's see what else. I am the assistant secretary to the Texas Association of Real Estate Brokers. I've won a couple awards here and there, but I've got a lot of designations and my broker's license. So I've done a fair amount of education throughout my career, and looking forward to see what we have going on today.
Awesome. All right. So just so everyone knows, I know I already asked you, but do you know the questions I'm about to ask you?
I do not.
All right. And we want to keep this just like unscripted. We want you to be real. We want you to be honest so that new agents coming in can learn new habits and new ways to do things, and also find someone who's in alignment with the way that they're doing business or want to do business, and come find you and ask a lot of great questions. So, all right. The first question, what are your priorities today?
For life, business, what are we talking about?
Let's go business first. We'll talk about your life later.
Priorities for my business today. Launch a listing, do prep for a listing presentation that I'm probably going to have tomorrow. Do my lead gen. I got a lot of it to do, and just and then pick my kid up from daycare.
Okay, so you said something interesting that I want to talk about. You're prepping today for a listing tomorrow. You're not going to prep 30 minutes before the listing?
No, I'm not. I like to do a little bit of research, specifically because this is one that I don't know if I want to take it. So I want to look at everything, because this individual has a very specific number in mind, and I just don't know that it's possible. So I want to make sure that I'm not going to be wasting my time.
Perfect. Love it. Protecting your time. Okay, well, next question. What are your lead gen goals today? And then what do they look like daily? And guys, I know you just heard Ola said she has a kid to pick up. So she's working, and she has he's almost 2. So her life has to be around this schedule. So let's hear it.
Lead gen for me today looks like reaching out to my sphere. I do follow the DTD2 program, so I've got a couple letters to call through today, just to keep everything on track with my quarterly calls. And since this quarter's over in a little less than a week, I've got a lot of calls to make. I also am using the fellow program, so I will be going in there and trying to engage some sellers to see who we can get some listing appointments with.
Okay, can you tell us real quick? Well, let me back up. So I've been able to watch Ola do the DTD2 program consistently for 2.5, 3 years now. She says DTD2 all the time. It is totally something that is in her business. She follows this to a T. Can you go over just really quickly what exactly that is?
So I think the class they taught on it was called Never Ending Referrals. And it's essentially like a structured way to be able to reach out and engage with your sphere systematically. So every week, right, like we got 13 weeks in a quarter, we've got 26 letters in the alphabet. So every week I call two letters, which is the beginning of their last name. And I don't know.
It's celebrating. Did y'all see that Zoom is celebrating Ola's successes for her? Go for it.
And so today I'll be working on the letters P and L. So I reach out to everyone whose last name starts with P or L and I make the calls. Sometimes the list is 20 people long, sometimes it's 75 people. So I never really know what that is going to be, but essentially every single person in my database gets direct communication from me outside of marketing 4 times a year.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So when you started and maybe your database wasn't as big, and let me ask you, how big is your database right now? Because you don't operate off of like a 5,000 people database. You're really specific about it.
I
How many
am.
people are in it?
I think I have about 650.
Okay, and when would you say you passed the like 300 to 400 person threshold?
Probably about year 4, maybe
Okay,
year 3.
awesome. Let's say you're earlier on when you started to do the DTD2 program and you wake up and you go to call and there's 10 people in it. Did you still call them? Did you just call 10 and that was it? You won the day, or did you call 10 and jump over to someone else?
I called the 10, but at that time I was still trying to figure out what the best options for me were going to be for lead gen. I was still trying to figure out what consistently do I need to be doing? Is it open houses? Is it door knocking? Is it networking? And I eventually just found the tools that worked for me. My business is about 90% repeat and referral. So the people that I'm doing business with already know me, like me, and trust me. So I don't have to do a lot of cold calls or door knocking anymore. I kind of earned my wings back in the day, and now I'm just able to build my business consistently off of the people that already celebrate me.
All right. Next question. How will you know you won the day? How do you know you put your stuff down, you get to go play with little E, and real estate is on the back burner now. You get to focus on being a mom, being a wife.
Every day is different. I think knowing that I won the day just really depends on what the successes are of that day. And some days there are no successes. So it's really just about knowing that I put everything that I had into it and then knowing that tomorrow is a whole new opportunity. Because in this business, you never know what's going to happen when you wake up. You could answer the phone and get $1 million listing. You could also answer the phone and have, 3 contracts terminate. You just never really know, but staying motivated mentally is a huge challenge that I had to overcome pretty early.
You could go on a listing appointment with 100 cats.
That was rough. Yeah. There's a lot out there that you'll encounter in this business. And I think if you just show up authentically and communicate effectively, people will respond to it.
Yep. Okay. This one's going to be fun. You guys all heard that Ola and I work together. So I have to reword it a little bit for Ola. No, actually, I'm going to word it the way I would word it to other one. All right. Your supervisor, the person that you work for, tells you your job is on the line and you have to get a new client under contract in 14 days or less. How would you get we'll do both. How would you get a buyer? How would you get a seller? So you need to do 14 days or less. Who are you calling? What does that look like? How do you handle that?
If I need to find a client in 14 days or less, since the majority of my business comes from my sphere, I would be reaching out to them. Past clients, particularly, hey, who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, rent, invest, right? I need a client. As far as listings, I would likely reach out to, fellow contacts, reach out, probably circle prospect some listings that I already have, and, just put everything into it. Because knowing if I have 14 days, I'm putting the most energy into the first 10 days.
Most energy in the first 10 days. I like that. Let's go back a little bit farther. So I've also had the pleasure of sitting in a room with Ola for many, many years. Even before we were on the same team, we would legion together. And I can tell you that, what did you say, Estrella? Maybe I need a supervisor. We will help supervise you. So you've always been really strong at asking for referrals.
Mhm.
Like I can hear you in my sleep asking for referrals. How did you break through that like mental fear, that block to ask for referrals? Like, I don't know that I've heard you hang up the phone and not ask for one.
Yeah, I when I first started as a solo agent, Ken Manso was my coach. And he kind of ingrained in me, when you're calling someone, if you feel awkward, if you feel like you don't really know what to say, just say part of my job is staying in touch. That is what I'm doing. You'll be hearing from me soon. I appreciate your time. Right? Some script that sounds more or less like that. But that quote, staying in touch is part of my job, really just kind of solidified what kind of remove that fear and let me move forward, knowing that like this is part of my job. Me reaching out and having, consistent communication is part of that. And so every Q4, I focus all of my sphere calls, all of my sphere communication on referrals. So that when January starts every year, I already have a list of 20 to 30 people who are ready to go for that year.
And let's see, I see Jasmine, I know that you may be driving or something. Are you full time? I can't remember.
I am driving. Thank you. I am not full time right now.
But you have another job, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Eric, are you full time? I know that you are, Jana. I know that Erica is.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, and then Estrella, you're full time as well. So Ola, you were doing some marketing and running another sort of sidecar situation when you first started.
Mhm.
Did you merge the two? Did you go over? It was marketing, correct? Am I crazy?
You are crazy. It wasn't marketing. I've never worked in marketing. I do have a side business, and I had been just kind of trying to figure out which avenue I was going to put most of my time into. But I also needed a paycheck that was steady, to get started. I didn't come into this with a ton of capital. So
Did you lean on any contacts over there when you're calling and just saying, part of my job is to stay in touch?
I did for a little while until I realized that those individuals didn't really see me as a professional realtor. They kind of saw me as like the employee that used to work with them. And so some of them have been, turned into great friends and been great, referral people. However, I kind of realized I needed to expand my horizons and spread my wings. So I think for about 2 years, I went to a networking event like every other week, and I just started filling my pipeline and my database.
So how did you, because you said something really important, and for everyone on the call, I often get this question walking around, running into you guys. I love talking to you guys in the office. They didn't see you as a professional realtor. And we talk a lot about this with new agents. What is your sphere? What are the people around you think about? So if I took Eric's cell phone and called the first 30 people in Eric's cell phone, sorry, Eric, you're right in front of me, and said, hey, I'm looking for a realtor, would the people right in front of, like right in the palm of his hand say, you got to call Eric, you got to call Ola, you got to call Jana, right? And I always think about that because I know I failed at showing people I was a realtor because, as you know, I was an admin on a team. So how did you shift the external, view of yourself to others to know that you're Ola, she's a realtor? What did you do?
I think for me, the pain of losing a listing or a referral from someone in my family or my close sphere because they didn't understand the business that I was building was worse than having an awkward conversation.
Okay, did y'all hear that? The pain drove her. And I remember, I think it was you didn't you have someone at the gym or something like that that went someone with someone different? I remember having a conversation with you really early on. Guys, I think I could see like the steam. She was like, this is not happening again.
Yeah, I'm not a pushy salesperson. So, I would prefer to build a relationship with someone and come from contributions so that they understand that if I am ever asking them for business, it's coming from a genuine place. But if you don't put yourself out there and you don't ever ask for the business, people will not give it to you. They're not just thinking out of their, oh, my neighbor said they wanted to sell. I better call Ola. They're like, oh, my neighbor wanted to sell. Good luck with that. And then they never even bring you up. But just kind of having those conversations early with people and, letting them in on your struggle. People love a success story. They want to see people go from the bottom to the top. So if they can be a part of that, they want to celebrate the success with you.
I agree. Don't hide behind it. I think some people don't want to be in the limelight or out there just kind of shining their star very bright. But the people around you who really are there to support you do want to see you shine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Role play. You ready?
I guess.
Do you guys care if I'm a buyer or a seller?
Buyer.
Okay, a buyer. So, I'm going to be the buyer and I'm going to be just like not really on or off the I mean, I'm not like on the fence with you yet. And I also would like you to insert your referral script because I know that you do that before we hang up. I'm just going to give you that prompt. But let's say you've talked to me 5 or 6 times. I'm just kind of dragging my feet and you want to just get me off the fence. Like, am I buying or not? I know that you have that call with people. You're like, all right, I'm cutting the cord.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hear it. All right. So, you called me. Oh, yeah, thanks for calling. I know that you've been keeping up with me. I'm just not sure yet. I mean, I'm waiting on a better deal to come along.
All right, I totally get that. What is a better deal to you?
I just think rates are going to drop again, and prices just keep falling every time I leave my house. I just see more real estate signs, and I'm sure the bottom's just really going to fall out.
Okay. And what number is going to get you, out there writing contracts? Like what number are you waiting to see a home listed for that gets you excited?
Good question. I mean, I'd like to get something 5% under whatever it's listed at.
Okay, so if we found you a $500,000 house, you would go in at it if it was 5,000 or if you could get 5% under that list price?
Oh, I mean, 500,000, that's a lot when homes are just, I feel like the prices just keep falling.
Yeah, well, prices falling isn't necessarily a bad thing. We're in a buyer's market. So if you're looking to purchase something, now is a really good time. The rates hopefully will continue to fall, but none of us can control what the Fed does. So, and there is a theory, and it will likely come true, that once rates fall, a lot of buyers are going to get off the fence, kind of how you have been trying to decide what to do. And then the prices are going to go up. Competition is going to come back. Even with the 0.5% rate cut that the Fed did last week, I was in 2 multiple offer situations this week. So it's going to come back. And that 5% you're trying to save, you're likely just spend next year if you keep waiting. So I guess my question to you is, when are you going to schedule that call with the lender so that you can get the financial strategy together?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think that's the part that's daunting really is just getting everything organized and finding time to do that. I get what you're saying about multiple offers. I was in that during the pandemic and I do not want to now overpay. So, I mean, do you think I can find something like in the $400,000 range? I don't have to be in the center of Austin.
Absolutely. There's a lot of options out there depending on like what is important to you. We can certainly chat about that. I do suggest that we sit down for a consultation and just really talk about what is important to you so that I'm able to effectively advocate for you once we're out there, negotiating and putting in offers.
I'm writing a note on the thing real quick for them. I love it. Effectively advocate. So let me, I heard in the news I have to pay you to do this. I don't have that cash right now.
I hear you. You know, there's a lot going on in the news that didn't really get what's going on correct. So that's part of what we cover in our consultation as well. We do talk about our fees, how they're paid, and we're overly transparent with you so that you have all the tools and education prepared to take the next step.
All right. We can meet Monday through Friday, whatever. Okay. And I didn't lead you down a good path to ask me the referral, but I want them to hear. So you're doing DTD2 calls today, this week. What letter are you on?
P&L.
Oh, good. I'm Phyllis. No, I'm Profit and Loss. That's my name. Profit and Loss. So give me your best DTD2 referral script because I like to sit next to you in the office and hear it. Let's go.
All right. Well, in this example, we've talked several times, so I'm going through my notes to see, what we've talked about. Hey, Diller, it's Ola Thompson with Keller Williams. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are things going with getting the kid into horse class?
It's great. We finally got into horse class.
That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. Listen, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm reaching out because I am actively working on building my business. I'm curious if there is anyone you know that's looking to buy, sell, rent, or invest in Austin real estate in the next year or so.
I was actually talking to my neighbor and I was trying to remember your name the other day because you've called and kind of kept in touch. I see the emails that you send. They're looking. She's pregnant and they're outgrowing their house and they're thinking about selling. We really don't want to help though because we don't want to lose them as a good neighbor.
Well, that's exciting. I appreciate you thinking of me. Yeah, and I hear you. Not wanting to lose a good neighbor is absolutely the worst. But hopefully you can be part of the process in picking a new neighbor. I'm curious, would it be all right if you connected me with them?
Yeah, I'm glad you called. Perfect timing. I'll just give her this phone number that you called from. Is that okay?
Yeah, that works. Often I find that when people pass along my phone number, I get like a 25% callback rate. So I would love if you ask if it's okay if you pass along their contact information, just so that I can reach out and start getting them some information about how we can get their home sold.
Yeah, I can absolutely do that. And then maybe just a group text.
Yeah, group text would be great. And I'd love to send you a little something as a token of appreciation.
All right. Thank you. Okay. We have a few minutes left. I think, one final question. All right. Every day or every call, we ask the agents to give us a suggested weekly action item. Some of the examples have been to send 10 gratitude cards weekly, to schedule your open houses by 3 p.m. on Wednesdays, to door knock 10 homes a week. What is something, and let's go back a little bit earlier in your career that you thought really made an impact for your business to consistently do weekly?
I think for me, I guess early in the business, I didn't have the amount of referral business that I had. Today, I would say reach out to your top referrers, check in with them. It doesn't have to be real estate related. It could just be like, hey, you crossed my mind. Hope you're doing well. Let's get coffee soon. Right. But I think that back in the day, I was probably planning my next door knocking route, or, working on something. I'd say consistently make the calls. That
And
that was that was the hard part. Just
I
making the
don't
time
know.
and making the calls.
I don't know if you're not saying this because you don't want anyone to know one of your other secrets. I almost was going to text you. What about phone duty?
Yeah, phone duty is a great option. It is, as one agent used to always tell me, it is passive lead generation. You're not really actively doing anything. You're waiting for the phone to ring, which is really, really great if it rings. But if it doesn't ring, I mean, I've had months where I just haven't gotten any calls. And then I've had the day where I had $1 million buyer call, or someone who wanted to sell their house. So it's one of those things that you can't really rely on.
Okay.
But it is a great way to get tenants and to build your pipeline from renters.
And probably script with real people too, right? Because
Yeah.
we can make up all the scripts we want. And Ola and I probably, because we know each other so well, sometimes it's hard to script and not pull jokes on each other or make it hard. However, just like being in an opportunity to let your phone ring from someone who's really driving down the road and making a phone call off of a property.
Yeah, it's great script practice because people will ask you all kinds of questions. And for me, my attitude about trying to be super nice and salesy goes out the window. I'm like, listen, what do you want? What are you calling about? This is not how that works. If you'd like more information, this is what we need to do. And if they're not on board, okay, good luck to you.
Yeah, don't let people bring you down a rabbit hole. I love that Ola's like really defended her business. I mean, since day one, I've always felt like you sort of had this bunker of like, I'm not going to waste time.
Well,
So
because
real
I
quick,
wasted my time with several people and learned the hard way, and now I'm very protective of it.
so we've got some comments, and Ola, I'm going to keep you for like 2 or 3 extra minutes. Does anyone have any questions? I've been putting some comments over there, and we'll have a summary at the end. But does anyone have any questions, real quick? I know it's almost 9. And the ones of you that are driving, please be careful. So Estrella, phone duty, in my opinion, used to be a lot more interactive. And I think part of it was maybe we just saw the people sitting here on phone duty. So maybe there was just that visual. Although we have Ola on our team, and then I also have Jane on my team. And my old team, there was a guy named John who John built his entire business off of phone duty for a while. And the leads are coming in because they're calling the numbers on Keller Williams signs out there floating around. My advice to you is if you guys do get a listing, even if you have to go get a magnet, put your own phone number on it so that people call you. These are people calling in off of random KW signs floating all over the city. They're calling that main line. Although I have seen it work for a lot of agents, I just think it's really good what Ola's saying. It's passive, right? It's going to make your phone ring. And so if your phone's not ringing, it's just a good one to layer. Because if you're doing open houses, door knocking, your consistent lead gen, that's just a good one to sort of layer on top of it.
Yeah, it's a good time to schedule your lead gen. Like because they're usually 2 to 3 hour blocks of time. So it's a great, just sit there and start scheduling open houses, like doing the things that force yourself to sit down at the computer and make time to work on your business. And if the phone rings, that's great.
Do you know, Ola, because not everyone is with Southwest Market Center that watches and listens to these calls. Do you know, is it like all of the market centers and you guys all split the time, or each market center has a different phone duty?
Each market center has a different phone duty.
And is there one down in Buda?
I don't know the Buda office that well, but I have to imagine that there is.
Okay.
I see your question, Eric. How does one sign up? So you have to have done all of the Ignite classes and all the other classes after you start. And then just like you could just ask the receptionist or your team leader and just say, hey, I'm interested in phone duty. We do sign up monthly. Before the pandemic, everything was done in person, kind of like bingo style, but now it's all
Let me show
done.
you how we do stuff around here. Actually, my department.
Sorry. I was
But-
trying to share the DTD2 list real quick with everyone, and it played a video and said, okay, keep going. Sorry.
But essentially, it's just we do a meeting monthly, and we just pick our times that we want for the next month. And then your block, like today we have sign up, and I think I have a phone duty shift from like 1 to 3. So I know that I need to be available to answer my phone between 1 to 3. And if it rings, great. If it doesn't, it's okay. But back in the day, we used to have to sit at a desk in the office that was the phone duty desk. And so you would be there answering the phones physically in the office. But now they're just transferred to our phones because of COVID.
Right. And it's probably helped you with forming a habit to be stuck at a desk for a while to make those cold calls.
That was really nice. Yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, I put Marty Miller's DTD2 list in that link if you want to pull it. But you can also go online and it's the letter D, the letter T, the letter D, the number 2. And it just helps you organize your database to where you're calling 2 letters weekly, quarterly, weekly, and it'll help you consistently call them through the year. And
Mhm.
I've seen it work tremendous for Ola. I do something similar, just not as organized as Ola. And I think if you don't have that in place and you're looking for systems, watch that video and put it into place ASAP.
Yeah, there's also a smart plan out there that has that. So I have it texting me on Mondays to let me know what the letters of the week are.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it works if you keep going with it consistently. Every single thing I have under contract and actively for sale right now is a referral, repeat business, or an agent referral.
And just so you know, Ola's volume is she hits the 10, 15 or higher $1 million mark annually. So it works. If you want to get those bigger numbers in there, don't run from it, run to it.
True.
All right, guys. We're gonna hang this call up, and we're one interview away from creating the library. Thanks for popping in.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.